Aries, sometimes the biggest changes don't crash in from the outside. They arrive quietly, knocking at the door of your own familiar home. In the next 3 days, a strange signal will appear. It may leave you unsettled, but also deeply curious. This isn't random. It's a message from the universe, reminding you that a new chapter is unfolding. And to understand it fully, let's step into the very beginning of this journey where the first mysterious signs start to reveal themselves all around you. One quiet afternoon, inside the same familiar home, where you've lived with your daily habits, something feels different. The light falls in a way you haven't seen before. It's still the same window, the same wall, yet everything seems to carry a new breath. A subtle echo from the universe you can't quite name. Others may look and say nothing has changed, but your heart, it feels a sharp pull, a strange signal, like the sky turning silent before a storm, or the breath-quickening warning that something is about to arrive. Aries, this is the moment you begin to realize the next 3 days will not be ordinary. This strangeness doesn't live only outside you, not just in the room, not in the kitchen you know so well. It begins inside. A hidden current of energy shifting, a fragile ray of light yet strong enough to shake what once felt solid. So often we don't recognize change with the mind, but with instinct, a pulse in the chest, a sensation like a soft bell ringing in the night. It tells you, even though everything looks the same, life is turning a new page. Ask yourself this: have you ever felt that strange moment when everything around you seemed calm, yet your soul touched an unfamiliar space, and deep down you knew something was coming? It isn't fear, it's a gentle call, a whisper from the universe: be ready. And Aries, you who always sense the world through your fiery instincts, cannot ignore this signal. Many believe change arrives with loud events, but often it begins with a small crack in a familiar wall. At first you see it and think nothing of it. But then one day, light shines through that crack, illuminating corners you'd long forgotten. The strangeness here is not meant to unsettle you, but to open a path you've desired many times, yet only when things shift will you dare to walk it. I believe these signs are gifts, not wrapped in ribbons, but wrapped in confusion, in lingering questions, in the trembling of your heart. Yet inside them lies the chance to rediscover a fire that was hidden. They say when you feel uneasy without knowing why, it may be your soul walking ahead, clearing the way for your body and your heart to follow. Aries, that is what you are experiencing now. In the coming days, as you open the door to step outside, you may notice small details you once overlooked. A single leaf drifting slowly to the porch, a window pushed open by the wind, the glance of someone's eyes holding yours a second too long. These little details are not random. They are whispers from the universe, reminding you that life is moving and you are being guided. If you wonder, is this real or only my imagination? Remember this: intuition has never been the liar. Your heart already knows what your mind struggles to catch. Trust what you feel. Treat this strangeness like a bell tolling at dawn. You don't need to understand it yet. You only need to walk forward in trust, knowing that every small change is part of a greater design. And when you sit in silence and accept it, you begin to hear what's usually missed: a faint drumbeat in the distance, a gentle note rising inside you. It doesn't scare you. It eases you like a hidden weight lifting away. This is how the universe places a quiet hand on your shoulder and whispers, "It's time." When you realize this, you see the strangeness is not a dark omen. It is an invitation to leave behind what is old and step into a new inner space where light is waiting. Not every door opens to paradise, but one door is about to open for you. And through it, you will find the wholeness you thought was lost. Like a river that never stops at one bend but always flows toward the sea, your life too is turning. And when you allow yourself to hear this signal, you will begin to see the true meaning of these next 3 days. They are not just days passing on the calendar. They are the journey of a soul standing at a threshold. And in that journey, a deeper truth will reveal itself. That sometimes what cracks does not come to destroy, but to let the light in. And that is the beginning of the greatest gift waiting for you. A fire rising deep in the forest often frightens people. They see the trees falling, the leaves burning, smoke filling the sky, and they believe everything is lost. But nature knows a truth that hurried eyes cannot see. That fire does not only destroy, it clears away the dead brush, the lifeless roots, so the earth can breathe again, so new seeds have a chance to rise. Aries, your life is no different. Every crack, every loss may look like an ending on the surface, but in truth it is the birth of something greater. I once stood before such an emptiness myself, when everything I trusted, everything I thought was solid, suddenly collapsed. The room I walked into every day was still the same, but inside everything felt foreign. I asked myself, why me? Why would the world take away what I held so tightly? But with time I came to see, it was not punishment, it was a gift, disguised as a breaking. The universe was simply clearing away what no longer nourished my soul, to make space for what truly belonged. And Aries, I believe you are walking that path right now. The cracks you see in your life are not signs of failure. They are openings where new light can enter. They are reminders that you've gone far enough in the old journey. And now it is time to step into another land of your life, like an old door creaking open at last, revealing a vast sky beyond it. If your heart feels shaken today, if you hear the sound of breaking in what you once trusted, try looking with different eyes. Think of the forest after the fire. When green shoots suddenly rise from the ash, what looked like destruction is really a beginning. What felt like loss is in fact liberation. Nothing is ever taken from you without a deeper message. It is time to make room for something better. We cling to the familiar, not because it brings joy, but because it feels safe. Yet safety itself can become the chain, a relationship that no longer feeds you, a job that drains your spirit, a belief that no longer matches who you are now. When these things begin to crack, you may feel pain, but you may also feel freedom. Aries, I want you to sit for a moment and ask yourself, what in my life is rotting, yet I still hold on? What am I clinging to only because I fear the emptiness if it's gone? Because sometimes emptiness itself is the gift. In that empty space, you can finally hear the true voice of your soul. In that empty space, you can finally open to what is waiting. And then you will see, the breaking is not your enemy. It is a companion carrying you from the old to the new. It teaches the most precious lesson: nothing is ever truly lost. Everything only changes shape, to return to you in a fuller form. When the fire is gone, the forest blooms again. When a door closes, light seeps through the crack. And when you walk away from what no longer belongs to you, you are quietly preparing for a return more radiant than anything you once imagined. So let your heart grow calm and listen a little closer. In the silence, a new rhythm is rising, not the rhythm of fear, but the rhythm of renewal. And that, Aries, is the sign that you are ready to step forward into the place where the true gifts of the universe are waiting. And once you see that meaning, you will know the breaking was never in vain. It was the whisper that opened a path before you, leading to a choice, a sacred choice, waiting to be lit inside your heart. One morning, you open your eyes and look around your room. Everything seems the same. The objects still sit where they always have, but inside you, something has shifted, as if your heart has finally dropped the invisible cord that bound it for so long. Aries, this is the rare moment when your soul whispers, it's time to let go, not because you are too weak to hold on, but because holding on is draining you. We so often cling to things that no longer belong to us, a friendship that has gone cold, yet we still call it close, a love that has become only routine, but we fear the emptiness if we leave, a job that exhausts the heart, yet we worry that if we walk away there will be nowhere else to turn. And in that clinging, we slowly lose ourselves. I remember once, a friend told me she stayed in a relationship for many years, not out of love, but out of fear of the silence after goodbye. She said, I was afraid of coming home to nothing but four walls. But in the end, it was only when she let go that she realized the silence was not emptiness. It was space. Space to breathe again, space to bloom again. Aries, ask yourself, have you ever held on to something only because you feared the emptiness if it was gone? Letting go is not failure. Letting go is telling yourself, I am worthy of more. I don't need to live halfway. I don't need to stay in connections that take more than they ever give. When you choose yourself, you are not selfish. You are simply placing your fire where it can truly shine. Aries, the time has come to face the truth. What no longer brings you joy, let it leave. Those who only drain your energy, gently close that door. The old beliefs that once served you but now weigh you down, lay them down. Let your heart return to its clear state, like a river no longer dammed. I know, it sounds simple, but it's not easy. Letting go can feel as painful as cutting off a piece of yourself. But just as a tree must shed its leaves for spring to arrive, we too must accept loss for rebirth to happen. This is not cruelty. It is the natural rhythm of life. And it is only when you are brave enough to lose that you truly find. There is a simple truth many forget. When your hand is clenched tight around a stone, you cannot take the gem the universe is trying to give you. Letting go is opening your hand, and it is the bravest act you can ever give yourself. Take a moment, write it down. Share in the comments the times you let go, the times you walked away from what was familiar, and how the new light entered your life afterward. Your story may be the very message someone else is waiting for. In the middle of their darkness, sometimes your small act of sharing becomes the light that guides another. Aries, when you choose yourself, you are rewriting your story. You no longer live in fear of being abandoned. You no longer need to seek validation outside yourself. You become the guardian of your own soul. And that is the first step to a new journey, one where you realize not everything that comes back deserves to be kept. Some things only return to test you, to see if you have truly learned the lesson of freedom. One still afternoon, as the sunlight leans through the window, you may suddenly notice a familiar shadow returning to your life. Someone who once stepped out of your story, or an old situation you thought was closed, now appears again. At first, your heart trembles, surprised, uncertain. It feels like finding an old letter sent back to you, carrying the scent of memories that once made you shiver. Aries, this is the test the universe has placed before you. This return is not always a gift. It does not always carry the love, kindness, or light you might hope for. Sometimes, it is simply a mirror, a reflection to show you how far you've come, how much you've grown, and whether you are still willing to repeat an old circle. We humans are tender toward what is familiar. An old message can stir warmth again. A face that once brought tears can make your heart ache once more. But pause and ask yourself, does this still fit the person I am becoming? Not everything that comes back deserves to be held onto. Some people return only because they are surprised at your strength. Some situations reappear only to test the faith you've just begun to build. I remember a woman once shared with me that years after her divorce, her ex-husband suddenly wanted to return. He spoke sweet words, promised to change. She sat in silence, placed her hand over her heart, and asked, does this belong to the woman I have become? The answer came not from her mind, but from a deep peace inside. She smiled and said no. And in that moment, she was truly free. Aries, you too may face such a moment. Someone may return, or an old opportunity may knock again, leaving you unsure. But instead of rushing back into the same cycle, let your heart lead. Place your hand on your chest, feel your own heartbeat, and ask, does this nourish the light I now carry? If the answer is no, smile, thank the past, and move forward. Here lies the human lesson. We are not meant to keep everything just because it once belonged to us. True growth is knowing when to say goodbye, not in bitterness but in calm acceptance. Because when you close a door that no longer serves, only then can another door open, the one where light and blessings wait. And when you stand firm in that choice, you will realize the test did not come to break you. It came to show you that you are strong enough, bright enough, and confident enough never to return to the shadows that once held you down. And then, as gently as a breeze carrying the scent of flowers into a room, a new door will begin to open. Beyond it, there are no old cycles, only blessings you never imagined, patiently waiting for you to step inside. There are mornings when you wake up, sit with a warm cup of tea still carrying its gentle steam, and suddenly feel the space around you lighten in a way you can't explain. No more heaviness on your shoulders. No more whispers pulling you back into the past. Only stillness. And in that stillness, you realize you've walked a long road. Aries, when you let go, the universe never leaves you in emptiness. It quietly places a gift in your hands, not wrapped in shiny paper, but hidden inside the rhythm of everyday life. In the simple moments you once overlooked. Many believe fortune is only money, the numbers that make life comfortable. But to me, and to anyone who has lost and then found themselves again, fortune is so much more. It is the afternoon when you hear the birds calling to one another, and in that brief moment you feel peace. It is the hand that holds yours tightly, with no need for distant promises, only the gift of presence. It is the gaze that meets yours, showing you that you don't have to prove your worth, because you were enough from the very beginning. Aries, you have shed tears, quietly in the night and sometimes in broad daylight. Those tears were never wasted. They were like rain soaking dry ground. And now, as the season turns, new shoots begin to rise. Everything you've given, your patience, your kindness, your loyalty, has become seed. And today you stand in a golden field. It is time to harvest. I believe this. Every soul who dares to step away from the half-lived life, who dares to let go of what is old, will always receive a worthy reward. And that reward is never only found outside. It begins within. It is the peace of walking into your own home without needing a mask. It is the gratitude of looking back at past pain and realizing those falls became the very steps that lifted you higher. It is the quiet happiness of knowing you chose yourself, and the universe chose to stand with you. Aries, the blessing you are entering does not arrive with noise. It doesn't come like fireworks in the sky, but like morning sunlight slipping through your window, touching your face when you least expect it. It arrives in simple conversations, in the smile of someone you love, in the respect given freely without conditions. That is true prosperity, not measured in numbers, but felt in the heart. If you have ever thought you gave too much, that your sacrifices were never returned, believe me, this is the turning point. The universe has recorded every step you've taken, every time you chose love over anger, forgiveness over revenge. And now you are being invited to receive. Ask yourself, when fortune knocks, will you open? Because this gift cannot be placed into a heart still crowded with regrets. Let the past flow like a river downstream. Free your hands so you can welcome what is meant for you. And when you lift your eyes toward what lies ahead, you will see a simple but profound truth. What you thought you lost was never truly lost. It has only been transformed, to return in another form, fuller, brighter, more complete. In that gentle light, you know you have truly come home, not back to the past, but back to yourself, back to the love, the peace, the fortune that has been waiting all along. So breathe deeply now. Let gratitude rise within you, and let that light carry you forward, because when the universe opens a door, beyond it is always a new journey, one that reveals the true meaning of coming home to yourself. One day, you will realize you're no longer searching for a harbor far away, no longer waiting for a hand to rescue you, no longer gazing out the window hoping for a sign from the world. Aries, every journey, every trial, every tear, and even the smallest joy has been leading you back to one place, yourself. Coming home to yourself is not about returning to who you once were. It is about rediscovering the essence, the pure light that was never extinguished. There were times you lived to please others, times you compromised just to keep a fragile peace. But deep down, your heart knew that was never truly you. And now, as the old doors close, as life's tests have given you enough wisdom, you step into the highest path where every breath, every choice comes from your truth. The greatest prosperity does not live in a bank account or in admiring eyes out there. It lives in the way you look into the mirror and see someone who no longer pretends. It lives in the relief of knowing you don't have to sacrifice peace to hold on to what isn't worthy. It lives in the quiet joy of knowing the light you carry is real, not borrowed from anyone else. Aries, this is the moment you choose yourself. You choose to protect the flame within instead of letting others decide its fate. You choose stillness over empty noise. You choose real love over attachments that only fill a void. And in that choice, you see clearly you were never lacking, never abandoned, only being guided back to the source of life within you. Let yourself write the words as a vow, not just to the universe but to your own soul. Let them be a bridge where your energy flows free. In the comments, I invite you to write, "I release the old, I choose myself. I am ready to receive all the good life has for me." Each time you read these words, you'll feel the strength of your choice. You are no longer the one who runs, no longer the one who endures. You are the one who rises, who opens, who returns, and you may be surprised to find coming home to yourself is not the end. It is like the climax of a song, when the orchestra bursts into its most beautiful notes, and in that music, you are the brightest note echoing from your heart all the way to the sky. When you allow yourself to step into that state, you see the world with new eyes. The smallest things become sacred: the smile of a stranger, a wildflower by the roadside, the sound of rain on the roof, because you have returned. You have awakened in your own light, and that light transforms everything. From here, the journey is no longer yours alone. When you return to yourself, you become a mirror, helping others find the courage to return too. You radiate the peace that others long for. You become living proof that no matter the loss, the human spirit can rise again whole and unshaken. Aries, you have gone far enough to know you no longer need anyone to confirm your worth. You are the worth itself, and when your heart is wide enough to embrace this truth, the next door opens, gentle and radiant, welcoming you into a new season where gratitude flows together with the light now spreading through your life. Dear Aries, thank you for walking with me all the way to this moment. Thank you for having the courage to listen not only with your ears, but with your heart. Thank you for your strength, for walking your own path, even when it was filled with shadows and trials. I know it's not always easy to hold the light inside you, but you did, and that is what makes you truly extraordinary. I want to offer you a blessing, simple yet deep. May you find peace within the home of your own soul, where you don't need to pretend, where you don't have to trade away pieces of yourself. May you sit down, take a long breath, and know you are already enough. And may you step into the new chapter with an open heart, so that true love, good fortune, and abundance smile on you at every turn. You deserve all that is good, and as that light flows out from you, the world around you will soften, will grow warmer. May you always remember, you have never been alone, and every step you take is held gently by the universe.